Okay. Go.
What's up, guys? My name is David B. Meadows.
I'm Max Martini.
And I'm William Kaufman.
And you're watching The Break It Down Show.
You guys know we love going live. We're live on remote in a fancy place. And actually, it felt like I might get shot when I came in because it's like you're in a compound. It was a lot of, it's like a little mini action adventure film for me. So thanks for coming on the show, you guys. Max, welcome back. I love that you guys made this thing. I'm a bit of a combat guy myself. And so I loved the teamwork, the motion, you know, how you guys spoke to each other. I thought the writing was great. I mean, this is a fun movie. The movie's called Osiris, everybody, and it drops today. But the just the realism, I stopped worrying about that. Maybe after that first gunfight, I'm like, I'm not worried about that anymore. It was so good. And look, I'm not a guy who was in a lot of firefights. I was doing intrigue, but the firefights I was in looked a lot like what you guys were doing. It was incredible. And so congratulations to you guys. I hope that was part of the intent of what you all were doing.
100%. Yeah.
Keep going.
All right. So we had I'm going to call him Hammer. We had a SEAL Team 6 operator who came in and was our attack advisor. And David knew a little about this. He's a former team guy.
Allegedly. Yeah. It was at SQV. It barely counts.
So
when the team connection, though, I mean, you can tell that the way like the brotherhood kind of came through. You know, for those who don't know, it'll all work for them. But I know, Dave, for guys like us who've been in team houses and seen how all that goes and the way we speak and all that kind of. And even though I'm a guy who's there to augment, I'm not trying to say I'm a Green Beret guy, but there is a familiarity to that world that you guys brought to that. How important was that to you?
So, you know, that was amazing. And I think it's one of the things that Will did so well when he cast it. A lot of times when casting movies, people are just looking at, you know, the actors or, you know, whom we're going to put in, you know, for whatever reason. Will had kind of an intuitive sense of saying, I want these guys to look like brothers. They need to be family. They need to be operators. They need to do all that. And to his credit, all the actors that he actually cast, LaMonica, Michael, Max, Linz, Jared, everybody, really took that to heart, and they actually understood that concept and wanted to have that brotherhood and that's almost organic movement to themselves. So they took to the training that our attack advisor gave them incredibly well.
Well, I'll actually add to that because Dave and I had known each other from Captain Phillips. We met on that movie. Sadly, we have become buddies, and keep trying to lose them, but it's not easy.
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. So Will and I had done a military sort of theme film that he directed and wrote and produced on the channel. So we had known each other prior. Jaron Mitchell and Linz Edwards were also in the channel. LaMonica and I are on a show called Lioness. Michael Irby and I had done 4 years in the unit together. So we had a pre-existing camaraderie and came in with that. And I think that really shows on camera. That's, you know, a lot of movies, they set up dinners and, you know, they put you through a bit of a boot camp and they hope that you come out of that having bonded, right? And as a team, as a unit. But thankfully, during this one, we had some history.
yeah, that was one of my best experiences making a film, and to the team's credit, they really became close and vicious to one another, but real friends. We had a real family together, and it really made a very tough job a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting just watching all the different guys, and especially some of the ones that were a little bit more junior, you know, like in the tactical stuff, like Jaron and Linz really just voraciously got after all the information and did their absolute best to absorb every nuance and really sit there and say, I want to live this and I want to actually be a part. I'm not just an actor trying to learn how to look good in something. I want to do this for real. And they really just
crushed it.
They crushed and embraced it, you know.
Yeah. What's the genesis of this story, this idea? Where did that come from?
That comes from my creative partner, Paul Reichel, my executive producer. So he kind of came up with, he likes what I do as far as the tactical action. And he said, you know, I'd love to do an abduction film with, you know, some commandos, and let's see what we can do. And although the idea at first terrified me, it was that once we got into it and we crafted the story, it was awesome. So it was a really great experience.
I'm curious about, you don't have to tell me this, but the budget, because I'm trying to make movies too. And I'm like, what does this all cost? And I'm like, oh my God, I can't even, I got lost track after like 10 minutes. I'm like, I didn't even know. And I'm not a pro at that, but I'm learning the craft of it. It was amazing. The special effects were fantastic. You guys had effects and then you had special effects. I hate when it's just all special effects. Like, you guys really put me in the moment. And even if it was all hocus pocus, it worked on me. It was great.
Right.
And so I was curious, the monsters were good. I mean, none of this stuff is inexpensive. So how did that work out?
I mean, yeah, I would, I don't think people would believe us if they knew what the budget was, and I think that
this is one of my more proud discussions.
Yeah, we're not going to name the number, but we will say that, like, the opening gunfight is 12 minutes of chaos.
Yeah.
And that we did in 2.5 days.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was insanity, just running all night long, trying to get everything done before daylight came up.
Yeah.
And so I think all the money went to what you see on the screen. I mean, we had an amazing creature effects designer, Todd Masters, fantastic VFX house, Burning Tractor, and the practical effects team was.
There are visual effects elements in the movie. There's a lot of them, but the aliens are practical. So this is another one of my more proud things to note, is that, for the younger audiences that are only used to seeing computer generated monsters and aliens, this will be a pretty special treat for them. And then for those of us that remember practical aliens, it's a great homage to the old days, and we've improved upon it. So it as an actor, I did a movie called Pacific Rim that was 95% green screen, and you were acting to laser pointers.
I was wondering where they cast those kaiju at, like in like
just
they sag hard or they sagged.
Yeah, well, it's not easy to find. Yeah, but this made it all the more real, for us, because we had something to react to, but also, like, as an actor, just fascinating, because there's guys in the suits, and the top of their heads come up to the shoulders of the suit. And then the alien head is animatronics. So there were creature artists off camera on remote controls, manipulating the facial expressions.
And adding to the stunt performance.
Yeah.
One of the coolest compliments we got was how great our VFX monster faces were. And it's all real. It's all practical effects.
They're great. I was wondering if they were physically in the room with you guys. And that's amazing. Good.
It's crazy too. We were talking about the team just actually as operators going around and doing the tactical movement and everything like that. But what a lot of people maybe don't understand is that making a movie is the ultimate work of teamwork. Like if people think it's just about the actors in the front or whatever, I mean, that's the smallest piece of the iceberg. And there's so many people behind the scenes. And again, it's a great credit to Will, Andrew, Isaac, John, everybody that created this entire team, to be able to bring the stunt performers actually in there, had the animatronics team that just really gelled together to be able to give these incredible effects that we enjoy in the movie.
Yeah, and I think most films that have a much more modest, limited budget would never have the opportunity to do like even the boot camp, right?
Right.
And to bring someone in at the level of our TAC advisor really took it up a notch. Yeah. So we think people are going to be very pleasantly surprised. And
even having done so many war films, I've done so many boot camps, and he obviously was in the military, and so a lot of us already came in with some knowledge of weapons handling and moving tactically, but Hammer, our advisor, former SEAL Team 6 guy, was really concentrating on honing in the fine details and how, tactics evolve, right? Like keeping everybody up to speed. And this was a lot of, moving around, plying corners and coming in as a team, moving tactically through the ship, which was different than, for instance, the opening of the film where we're out in the open. So, I mean, you're obviously viewers know this, but
It's such a crazy difference too, because there's the true tactics that are involved, right? And all the people that are the gun gurus, and everybody wants to see the the sexy badass guy movement and everything like that. Well, we're also making a movie, you know, and there's the fantasy elements and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, and Will's sitting there going, okay, well, guys, that looks super cool, but I can't get a camera to see that, you know, or like some sort of find that perfect balance where it kind of has everything we can possibly give authentically, excuse me.
Right.
And then also still keeping that cinematic, just cool factor and fun is a really fine balance too.
Yeah, I talked to had Tyler Gray on the show not too long ago. He's a former cat guy. Yeah, he's a great guy, and he was an advisor and then ultimately producer and all that kind of thing. And we were talking about how the era and the web gear and all the other things you guys carried. How much thought did you guys put into like what era do we want to put this in? Because, you know, a lot of guys notice this stuff. Does this come up at all, or is this?
That specifically hasn't come up, but I mean, it was very much about having it set today.
Okay.
So I mean, like the kit we used was, you know, fantastic. Dan Bennett, he's a custom plate carrier guy.
Yeah.
Salt and Light Tactical, and then the web belts were Lead Devil, which are kind of top tier. Web belts, and I mean, you know, war belts. Right?
Yeah.
And so I think we brought in a ton of stuff, and so it's kind of cool. We also wanted everyone to be different. The team to be all individualized, like a real, you know, tactical, you know, tier 1 level team. And so it was kind of cool. We had all of the toys, and then our operators, our actors came in and got to take bits and pieces of what they wanted and customize it. And the people that didn't have as much experience, they had the people that did, and they had our TAC advisor can kind of guide them. Like, you've got the EOTech on backwards. Let's turn that around. So,
people will notice.
Which happens.
It does happen. Yeah, and the reason why I say this for the audience, so you guys follow this, if they broke out a flip phone, it's going to timestamp.
Right.
And so web gear and equipment, you know, that happens with that too. And so this stuff matters to the folks that it matters to, and that's not everybody, but there is thought behind that. And when you hire an expert like you guys did, they understand, you know, not to bring 1996 gear into this fight. You know? Right.
So, it's like our M4s. Our M4s are like, I mean, it's my favorite M4 company, Triarch, Chris Reeves at Triarch, and he came in and hooked us up, and we had a great time with that. So
I was curious about with everything that happened with Rust and like the desire, like, do we actually need to fire weapons on set? There are so many rounds flying. How much of the shooting is virtual as opposed to? I mean, because here's one thing that you don't get the action of the gun. Now, who cares about that watching a movie, right? But it is, you know, weapons move. And so
you do, I mean, obviously all the stuff that we did in tight quarters was VFX. It was just safety
for sure.
But those the prop weapons we have, and they do cycle the action. They do give a little kick, and I think it's more of a problem when you have actors who aren't supposed to be commandos, right? And if you have actors who've had some time behind a gun, they know how to add to it, and help keep that, because we were all very conscious of not wanting to look like we were holding little props and shaping them.
But even when you're in, you know, tight quarters, you have to sell the recoil, right? I mean, it's part of our job. So it's something, you know, it looks great in the movie, but you know, it is something that you have to add to the
that worked because the actors were very conscious of it. And I'd never done, because, you know, a lot of it's that interior location, so I'd never done that much in the way of CGI VFX guns. So I was pretty paranoid about it. There were a lot of times we'd all remind each other, you know, bang, 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 you know. So
remember the recoil.
Recoil.
The recoil thing, but also like the close quarters, like you say. And then I didn't see a whole lot of like shell casings coming out, you know, because that's the thing too. But is that important to a movie, or is that being like?
Oh, they are. You pause it, you'll see them.
Okay. It's dark in there quite often too.
I was pretty paranoid about that. I drove the burning tractor team crazy. But I think they did well.
He has a big military following, you know, as do I. You know, so it's like they're looking for that stuff, you know, and they will freeze frame it and circle it and post it and you know go. You know.
I was the nerd who's literally sending the VFX team, this is what your references on showcasing ejecting for the Scar 16 or the 17 or the M4s and the cycle rate of the Glock 18, you know,
Yeah.
just so that we got that as close to something really convincing as we could.
Well, I could tell that was going to be the case because, again, as I watched it, it looked very real. I mean, I'm aware that when you mechanically shoot in these confined spaces, you don't want to take the risk of something happening. So, yeah, you're going to do. But that was an assumption. I didn't know for sure. And it did seem like you had real weapons with real people really shooting it throughout the movie. Even the rail gun or wherever that was awesome. And then, so this was the question I had. I'm like, I don't play a lot of video games really at all. You will basically never see a paddle in my hand, but I've played them in the past. I'm like, is this inspired by a video game? Because it looks like Doom or.
It's so funny because I've gotten that a couple times, and I know those games are amazing. I don't play, not because I don't like them. I just suck at them. So I, you know, that is not a conscious effort, but you know. Those games look amazing, so I take it as a compliment.
It is. I thought like maybe they made it from it, or maybe they're going to make a video game from it. You know,
I was going to say, is there a game in the future?
Yeah.
Because, you know,
yeah, I mean, like you have
a captivating voice.
You do. Why, yes, you do.
Wow, and he's very humble about it too. It's amazing.
No, this is a very humble team.
100%. We're the best in the world at being humble. Just ask us.
Yeah. Linda Hamilton. How awesome is she in this thing?
She's amazing. She's Max was talking about it. I mean, as a human being, she's just such a down-to-earth, fantastic person and a great collaborator. What would you say?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, we were all really excited to have her on. She's, you know, iconic. I mean, she's really like the original female badass that I remember from my childhood, you know, and
Sci-Fi Roller
Coaster. Yeah, it's like her and Sigourney Weaver were really like the two first ladies.
More Linda though.
I think that T2 showing us what a.
Oh yeah.
So and she was great and game, and you know, and wanted to get in and wasn't afraid to get dirty, and just really good experience.
Yeah. But there's it's more than an homage. I mean, yes, there's some homage to that, but the fact that she showed up, so there was a couple of times where I paused the movie, besides from like, oh, get the cat or something like that was going on, and when she showed up, and I'm like, wait, is that Linda Hamilton? And I'm not good at that game, you know, like if they look different, I'm like, I don't know about my special summon in my life. She's great at that game. She's like, oh, that's so and so. They were in this and this, and she knows all that. And I'm like, I just did a you thing. I think that's Linda Hamilton. And then I looked, and I'm, oh my god, it was, and I was. Look, this is a complete compliment. I was so excited about that. I'm like, this is so right. I didn't know anything about the movie, but I knew that like this was a moment where like you guys really did something awesome without it being like Leonard Nimoy giving somebody a Spock shock, and that's too much for me. Right. But her being there, being legit like she was, I just thought it was such a killer moment.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, she actually lives in the city. I live there as well, and so we had the idea to go after her. And when we got her, we were all just so stoked. So,
tell me about how you got her. That's what I want to know.
I mean, my producers, John Robleski and Christian Sosa. You
gotta pay. No, I'm kidding.
Well, you do gotta pay, but she can say no to whatever she wants.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So I got to meet with her, and we hit it off, and she elevated the material, and it was a great experience.
Yeah. That's great. What were the other castings that really stood out to you guys? I mean, obviously you love all of them, otherwise it wouldn't be in the movie. But who else really stole scenes for you guys when you guys saw it?
Do you want me to leave so it's not awkward?
This is what he does. Max Martini, ladies and gentlemen.
I've done 3 movies now with Max. He's one of my best friends, and that's alone made it. That's as much as I'm going to say.
Bro, let it go, bro. Don't blow his head up, bro.
The whole group was a blast.
Will has, you know, created this little film family behind the camera, in front of the camera, that it's so exciting to be part of a production that, you know, is so invested in what they're doing. Every single department. I mean, and it really, and it's like, and they were so excited to see it in New Orleans when we screened it. And, you know, so it's, it makes, this is the reason we get into this business is for that experience, you know, and it's rare, sadly, but we got it here.
You know, it's amazing, just kind of caveating on that. For anyone who doesn't out there, making movies is freaking hard.
Yeah.
It's hard and it's very sucky, and there's a lot of moving parts and all this other sort of stuff. So anytime that you find an opportunity to work with people that you genuinely really enjoy and make the job easier, and they become friends, and they're incredibly talented and good at what it does, it's literally like the holy grail of making movies. And it's just consistently just doing it one after another. It's a really special job.
And I think there's some real breakout performances that Linz Edwards,
It's great.
Jaron Mitchell, even David. So,
bro, say more, bro.
I'm done. So,
Talk about your character, Dave. I mean, it's. I mean, obviously, you know what you're doing, right? Is it acting, or did you play yourself?
That's actually a really interesting question. It's always acting.
Mm-hmm.
It's always acting, because the situation that that you're in, and the situation that this man is living through, it's freaking aliens and all this other sort of stuff. It's just such an incredibly non-general day-to-day sort of situation that there is that full imagination and suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
It's always been a challenge for me. It's just interesting to, when I do a military role or something like that, to kind of separate my brain for what I know to be correct, and versus what we're doing cinematically and all that sort of thing. So finding that balance, and kind of getting into that is always like a fun little process.
I had to fight the urge to ask Dave questions.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when you have a former SEAL as part of your cast, and let's say my TAC advisor wasn't there, I have to try it, because he's there as an actor, and he is a fine actor. So, and that's okay, I'm done. But that was a something I'd have to remind myself to.
Yeah. Well, it's fun to talk to SEALs.
Yeah.
Did you ever go into Danny's and get any fights? Like, you have to ask these kind of questions. So, Dave, do you ever go to Danny's and get any fights?
All the time.
All the time, bro.
Thing to do, man.
But I do want to ask you this, because you and I know that combat breaks people, in all kinds of ways, whether you're helping a guy across a Carez and popping a shoulder in and out of socket real fast, whatever it is. But some dudes break mentally. And if for folks who've never seen that, it's sad. Like, you'll see a person start to lose it, and you don't want to be the first one to say something, but they're cracking. And it happens to anybody. And sometimes they get a hold of themselves. But when you get as much random ass shit coming at you as you guys had in this movie, it's very likely for one of the guys. And here's the thing about, this is Pete talking about team stuff, so you correct me, but you'll have the guy like, he's a spaz, he'll calm down. You got that guy always overconfident, whatever. So we all know each other really well in that environment, and we allow them to be them. But when the time comes, we all rely on each other.
Well, dude, that's a great question. And one of the things that people ask me all the time about, being in spec ops or whatever the case is always, how do you manage fear?
Yeah.
Right. How do you do that? How do you do it? And I tell people, it's like, operators get scared just like everybody else. It's our ability to manage the fear and to make friends with it and to overcome it and do that sort of, like, I hate jumping out of airplanes. All the hundreds of times I did it, it blows. I hate it, but I did it every single time because that's what it is, And every time I jumped in the water, I'm like, a great white is right there. It's going to eat me. That's it. Done. I'm dead, but you still do it. And I think that what's really cool is in Osiris, especially, with like Lynn's character and things like that, some of the guys, you actually get to see these emotional roller coasters that they go on. It's not just this stoic, detached, robot of a man. It's people going, dude, they're freaking aliens. Why? And then get the job done anyway, because that's what it really is about. Whoa. So I think that's a really cool thing that people will get to enjoy in the audience. It's not just these, untouchable men. It's they're human beings that are put into just an unimaginable, impossible situation that you can't be trained for or anything like that. Yeah. And they're just doing the absolute best job that they possibly can.
Actually, I'm going to add to that. That's kind of one of the things that Will does, which makes these action movies really special for me. Is he lets the actors breathe. And it's one of the things that attracted me to the channel, which was our first movie together, was that there were like real human moments in that movie, and relationship moments that, in addition to the crazy action. But and because we come into this story and we're fighting for our lives, essentially, There's not a lot of room for character development, but there's lulls in the action
Sure.
that allow you to kind of get a sense of who this guy is, what the relationships are, and it gives a little humanity to the experience. Right?
You know, it really does. That's one of the things when I actually went back and watched the movie for the first time. You know, we saw it at the actual world premiere in New Orleans. That was one of the things I think I enjoyed seeing the most, was how Will and how the script brought that together, where you had these insane, the movie doesn't stop. It's action packed from the first scene literally until the last scene. And yet somehow they find these incredible moments to have these wonderfully human connections. And guys are talking about their families, and like wondering what happened to, like, all these like things that real human beings were doing. And it's not just, let's go kill the freaking aliens all the time. It's this other deep drive.
I think that's one of the tough things about this. When Paul and I went after the script, having the opportunity for character development when it's a story about monster in the house, right? Mm-hmm. When it's a story about people just simply running for their lives, to find those as organic moments was really important. And I think that's what the cast elevated, So I think that's what gets you invested. That's what the action, that's what makes, for me, the action exciting, because we're invested in the character. We want them to make it.
And it separates Osiris from any other movies that, might be in similar genres or things like that, is the amount of heart. And there's also a great amount of, like, through Lindsay's character especially, there's a great amount of very well placed humor that actually comes into it. So it's not just this one note all the time. There's these great moments of brevity that come out where you're like, oh, that was perfect. Yeah, it's just
he did that brilliantly. By the way,
he really did.
It could have been cheesy, but it was really
100%
well executed.
This is the fact of the matter, though, is Dave, you know this. There's time in combat where it's hilarious.
It always is.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing's ridiculous from the jump.
One of the things is just kind of commenting on that. Like, again, I get it all the time, and anybody's familiar with any of the communities out there. When I try to express to people, like, there's the civilian world ideology of spec ops guys of just being these stoic, sociopathic, just flat face, everything like that. But for anyone who actually knows, Osiris does a really good job of showing what operators are really like, where guys are just like smart ass, badass cowboys, like kind of going through, and you never know what'll come out of their mouth. And it's just like a family of brothers doing their thing. And I think that Osiris does a really cool job of actually showing the truth of the real dudes.
Yeah, it was any of that ad-libbed, all that stuff that you guys were doing?
Yes. Yeah. I would love to steal credit. But yes, some of Lens Edwards' lines, like
especially ad-libber, screen stealer.
No, they're all fighting for it.
Fighting for
Can we do one by one?
Trying to get more dialogue. Trying to bump number one down. I know how it works.
Yeah,
for good reason.
Would you change any of your acting choices a little bit?
I would change some.
I was going to say, I think that the best thing that we could possibly do for the movie is just to take me out altogether.
Nice.
I think that would be a brilliant thing.
And that wasn't a critique from behind for me. I'm just curious, like, you watch yourself, we're hard on ourselves. Mm-hmm. That's how our world works.
I think that there were a couple little things that I actually looked at, the choice, the takes, and I'm grateful that Will directed me in the moment to kind of give him a little bit, because I had my choices that I wanted in a couple of the things, and the ways that I was playing a couple things I had I don't want to give it away, but I had a little bit of a brevity that I built in and things like that. And I'm happy to say that, Will went the opposite way, and the takes that he actually used for me, and it created the arc of the character. There's a very pinnacle moment for the character that the audience will see, where, you know what I'm talking about. And we kind of built the whole character arc to that moment.
Yeah.
Because it was going to be such a telling thing for the audience to actually see. And so the character's energy and everything like that going into that thing really helps the audience to understand the story. So I'm glad that, what Will chose for the takes from everything.
It's the first time I'm hearing that. Is it really? How about you?
Would I change anything?
Yeah.
Pretty much everything. Could you change it and make it good?
It's a little late for that. But no, I don't think so. I mean, look, there's always, like, I don't really have a problem critiquing myself and looking at my work and going, I wish I would have done that. But you know, I feel like
because none of us have a problem critiquing.
Right. And I value your criticism.
Yeah,
Greatly.
Anyway, so where were we? No, but you know, this is such a collaborative experience with Will that like we sort through a lot of stuff on set. You know, I mean, we had a lot of off-camera discussions about, you know, this, you know, what do you think about this? And, you know, or he would say, what do you think about trying this? And it really feels like the machine is, you know, working at optimum level. So, yeah, I mean, there's different choices that could have been made, but I'm really happy with the outcome. I mean,
I'm the same as a director. There's always things you would think, oh, I wish I'd done this or that.
Yeah.
But I'm super proud of what we pulled off.
Yeah.
And you should be. It was a great ride. I mean,
Thank you.
It was wonderful. I have a question for you, Max. Your scar, your character's face, how did he get that? Was that coming home, you know, late night from drinking and Rhonda's like, oh, fuck no. Then she stabbed you in the face. Were you in Solder City? How'd that scar happen?
I've felt like my character looked many but we just kind of decided that, you know, he had seen some combat.
Yeah.
That, you know, the scars would without saying anything, you know, would kind of show that he had been through.
Without a story about
it. Yeah.
No cutaways. Well, there was a little bit of a cutaway there at one point.
Yeah.
So when we picked them up, the idea was that they were on a job and they got hit and they were. That's why you've got some like as if they were in a vehicle and the glass hit them and stuff. And so we're jumping in the middle of an action sequence. So
yeah, interesting. Okay, I don't want to take too much of your time because I know you've got a hard out. Is there anything else you guys want to cover about this? And let me just say this. Osiris comes out today. You guys got to watch it. It's a great ride. You're going to love it. You know what Pete always says: take a friend, buy 2 tickets, go to see wherever it is. Where's it streaming? Where's it in theaters?
Everywhere on demand.
Everywhere on demand.
You know, Amazon Prime, iTunes. You know.
Yeah, you guys are going to love this thing. Okay, so what else we got to cover? Anything else at all?
Yeah, I would just say that, you know, this is and I say this is a crack a beer, right? Make some popcorn, grab the kids, everybody plant on the couch, and enjoy the ride. I mean, it's a wild, nonstop, testosterone fueled ride. Unapologetically old school, and it's a great film. You'll love it.
Well, I got to ask you this: when you were pitching this, did you say it's Aliens meets, you know, Hoosiers, or what did you say?
No,
I'm pretty sure he just pitched it around David B. Meadows,
right?
And basically, that was he was like, I had this concept, and there's this dude, and we should just do that.
It's David B. Meadows, and there's aliens,
and there's Max Martini, and
yeah,
that's what I would say.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I would say. The women in our film are every bit as tough as the men.
No, yeah.
Brianna Hildebrand plays Ravi, and Linda Hamilton. They are as hardcore as it gets, and they are not damsels in distress.
For sure.
You know, I just on it real quick. You know, it was my first opportunity to work with Ms. Hamilton, but Brianna and I have actually done 2 movies together. We did another one called Fog of War that was there, and I'm always just so floored working with her and her professionalism and her adaptability, and to go from the Fog of War movie into this Osiris is just a rough and tumble, and she's just thrown in with this whole group of operator guys and just hits the ground, owns it, and just kind of makes it her own and steps up. It was such a cool thing.
Yeah. Last thing. Yeah. Tactically, right? Yeah. And, you know, again, if you know me, I've been part of some amazing war films. Tactically, I think this one, top 4, top 3.
What?
I mean,
wow.
It's really, really tight. Osiris streaming everywhere now. Go see it.
All right,
go see it.